When I first launched my business, I wasted so much time chasing the hype in the industry. I tried every new tactic that promised fast results, and sure, sometimes I got a little bump in my income, but nothing stuck. And it wasn't until I launched this boring client acquisition machine that everything changed. Month after month, I had high-ticket clients coming into my business on repeat. And here's the crazy part, it was simple. So simple, in fact, that I actually found it boring, and most people overlook it for that exact reason. They're chasing the next exciting strategy, not realizing that the path to consistent high-ticket clients has been in front of them this entire time. But that ends for you today, because I'm going to share with you exactly how this works. Now, here's the cool thing about the system I'm going to share today. It's not just theory. This is the same system I unknowingly used to land my very first high-ticket client online. It then gave me my first $10,000 month. Then I moved to $100,000 in a month, and eventually I scaled this business to generating over $1 million in client revenue in a single month. And I've repeated it again and again across multiple businesses, and it works just as well today as it did back then. So let's break it down. This is all part of a bigger system that I call the momentum framework. It's a 5-step growth model that I teach all of my clients, and it's the exact framework they've used to collectively generate over 122 million in online sales. Normally, this is just a client resource, but I've made the full framework available as a free resource attached to this video. So you can click the link in the description box, tell me where to send it, and you can get your copy to follow along with. So let's get started. There are 3 critical pieces to client acquisition. These 3 things that, when connected the right way, give you a reliable, scalable machine for landing high-ticket clients. And if you get it right, you will win the trophy in the middle, which is consistent dream clients on demand. But here's the warning. It is boring, dead boring. Nothing about this is hypey or sexy, but it is powerful, and so I hope you implement it. The first piece is audience, because if you're going after the wrong people, nothing else matters. You can have the sharpest funnel, the slickest sales script, but if the audience isn't right, you will fail before you start. There are 3 proven ways to reach your audience. You can buy them, build them, or borrow them. If you're going to buy them, then you can run paid ads to get in front of your dream clients quickly. You spend a bit of money and you get some of that traffic. If you're going to build them, then you can create content consistently and grow an audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, similar to what I'm doing right here on YouTube. Or thirdly, you can borrow them. You can leverage other people's audiences through partnerships, collaborations, podcasts, and events. You can find someone else that has the audience that you want and find a way to build a relationship with them to get in front of that audience. I find the power here is in combining all 3 of these. Don't just rely on one traffic strategy, because you leave yourself vulnerable if the algorithm changes. You want to have a buy it, build it, and borrow it strategy all working together. It's simple, it's boring, but this is where everything starts. Now, knowing the audience you want to go after isn't enough. You need to be able to attract them into your world, and here's where most people go wrong. They post random content with no plan, no voice, nothing unique about them, and then wonder why no one's engaging with their marketing. The transition between audience and the next big pillar we're about to discuss is what I call the magnet. This is not a lead magnet, but it's you, your uniqueness, your story, your perspective, your voice. In a crowded market, you have to magnetically attract the right people. That means being clear, consistent, and different in the way you put your content out into the world. If nothing about you stands out, your audience will never take the next step into the next pillar here, which is marketing. This is where we take attention and we turn it into opportunity. Step 1 here is lead capture. Don't try to sell straight away. Get people onto your email list. Why would we do that? Because when you have an email list, you have leverage. From just my email list alone, I generate on average an additional $100,000 to $200,000 every single month, and have done over the last few years. Some months as high as $500,000 in additional income. That's because a list gives you a warm, engaged audience that you can sell to again and again. Step 2 is your conversion vehicle. This is how you take cold leads and warm them up into red hot, ready to buy prospects. And for me, webinars are still the go-to best way to do this. They let you educate, build trust, and make a clear offer in one single sitting. Webinars are not new, they're not hypey, they're not glamorous, but they are what works right now. And so if you're choosing what's working over what's hypey, then you should use a webinar. Now, the third and final pillar here is sales, but here's the transition that most people get wrong when moving from marketing to sales. Most people are too pushy. They're desperate to get as many people as possible to book a sales call, but here's the problem. There's no benefit to the prospect. It feels very one-sided. That's why the transition here is something called the application close. Instead of you chasing them, they are applying to work with you. They apply for the opportunity to speak with you and to join your program. And that simple shift changes everything. It takes the pressure off you, it flips the sales process, and instead of you selling them, they actually start to sell themselves to you, especially off the back of a high-value webinar, and that makes closing high-ticket sales just so much easier. So now we're at sales, and this is where the rubber meets the road. My favorite approach here is what I call the push and the pull script. This is about as exciting as this boring methodology actually gets, because what I do is on the first conversation, I actually push back on the prospect slightly. I don't want to sound desperate, and you shouldn't either. So you don't want to oversell. You actually position yourself as selective. So then on the second conversation, once you have qualified them as someone that you might want to invite into your program, then on the second call, you pull them back in if they're the right fit. That push and pull rhythm creates authority, scarcity, and trust all at once. Again, it's simple, it's kind of boring, but it works, and it works very well. And here's the final transition back to the audience that makes this whole thing a machine, and that is refining. Every time you go through the process, you collect data. Who applied, who bought, who didn't buy, why and why not. And when you feed that back into your audience targeting, your content and your marketing, the whole system gets sharper. You stop wasting time on the wrong people, you attract better prospects, and your close rates go up. And that refinement loop is what turns this from a one-time campaign into a long-term, scalable client acquisition machine. So it starts with the audience. Buy it, build it, and borrow it. Then you make sure that you're magnetically attracting the right people through to your marketing, where you can collect them as a lead and move them through your conversion vehicle. Then comes the application. They qualify themselves to work with you. And then of course we use the push and the pull to close the loop. And finally we refine using the data that we're collecting to sharpen the entire system. It's not sexy, it's not hypey, but it works. This boring client acquisition machine has helped me land my first client, my first 10K month, my first 100K month, and even generated over $1 million in a single month. If you want to go deeper on this topic, don't forget to grab a copy of the Momentum Framework. It's all in here, but there's so much more as well if you want to build out a multi-million-dollar business like this. So check that out, link in the description. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.